I think what we saw last night was Nick Saban panicking. Within the context of the game, the calls that were made, the way he responded to Clemson, it looked like somebody who was a little lost, a little panicked, didn't know what to do. And the truth of the matter is, you just heard Nick Saban essentially admitting to the same thing. He took responsibility. He took accountability 95% of the way, not 100% of the way, 95% of the way, because the one play that's indicative of the panic was the 4th and 6 call, the field goal call, the fake field goal call. Everybody on the field, in fact, not just everybody on the field, but up in the broadcast booth watching knew what was about to go down. Clemson knew it was going to be a fake field goal. Everybody knew. And to do that in the face of a defense that's ready for you, 7 men off the line of scrimmage, to do that when your probability is so low, to do that when you have 6 yards to get it, it's just not indicative of who Nick Saban has been through this dynasty. It's just not indicative of who Nick Saban has been in establishing himself as the greatest college football coach of all time. And because it wasn't indicative, I found it panicky. Panic is what you do when you don't know who you are in the moment. You forget who you are. That's exactly what Saban did right there. It's not how he got to this place.
I totally agree with you, Will, that it seemed panicky. But I think partly that's because what we saw in a lot of those highlights was they were matching up athlete for athlete without, when you always step on the field and you have the best athletes on your size, you're the intimidator. Why panic? You're also a great football mind and a disciplinarian, all those things. All of a sudden, you match up with guys and it's like, oh my God, they got athletes just like we got athletes, right? Maybe better. Right. Then all of a sudden, yeah, panic. I agree, it did look panicky.
I think the thing for me, guys, is that, you know what? I can't disagree with y'all only because, but it's for different reasons. The one thing that was working for Alabama was their running game. Both Najee and Damian Harris was running the football. Najee Harris averaged 6.6 yards a carry. Damian Harris averaged 5.2 yards a carry. When you ran the football, you were capable of running the football. And if you're going, there's plenty of guys on the collegiate level and on the NFL level, when you go up against a team and they just got some dogs, they just got some horses that are superior to yours. But what you do at that particular moment is you slow things down. I remember remember the 80s in college basketball when Villanova was going up against Hoya Paranoia with Ewing and Michael Graham and Michael Jackson and those boys. What the hell did Raleigh Massimino do? He slowed the ball down.
But that's what Will's point, the idea is the type of team that does that is the team with less talent. You want a lower scoring game. You want a ball possession type game. Nick Saban is not used in recent years to being in that position.
But what he is used to is being able to run the football. Yeah. And it wasn't like they couldn't run the football last night. They got away from running the football.
Because they got into it. Because they got into a track meet.
Let me say this, Will. Let me say this, Will. They got away from their running game because they were preoccupied with what they were seeing Clemson do to their defense. So but I'm saying you want to stop the bleeding, keep the offense off the field. But that's what you can do. But you can do that by running the football when you have the ball.
I think that's all indicative of the panic. Now, don't get me wrong. I want to say a couple things here. First of all, Alabama. And I never know sometimes working for Disney exactly what the words we can and cannot use are, but sometimes pushing the edge is exactly the most accurate thing to say. But I'll put it this way. Alabama just got their butt whipped, right? At every single level.
They got smacked down.
Every single level, every single position group on the sidelines, at every level and every player, they got their butt whipped. So Saban's not solely responsible for what happened. They just got beat in every aspect. And when I said he took 95% of the responsibility, what I'm talking about there is on that 4th and 6 call, he mentioned that somebody didn't make their block. It looked to me like there's about 3 or 4 guys that missed their block. So it was Saban for making the call. And to me, the game, and I'm going to go to you now, Max, on this, the game, the metaphor it reminded me of is a boxing fight. Like one guy went in and thought, I'm going to win this game. I'm going to win this fight. And then he got punched in the mouth right away with that pick 6 from Tua. But he wasn't rattled. And I respect that about Tua, by the way. He came back and threw 2 more punches. But the challenger, Clemson, wasn't going away. And after Clemson kept punching back, sooner or later, the champion was out there throwing haymakers against wind. He was desperate looking. It looked like a champion who realized about in the third round, I'm at my match.
Right, and by the way, I'll extend the boxing metaphor. I'll torture it a little bit here, Will. Through the Mike Tyson era, we all thought we were living through the Mike Tyson era. And it wasn't until the second time Holyfield beat him that it dawned on people, I think, oh, wait a minute. Now looking back, we started re-examining the evidence. Wait a minute. This has been the Holyfield era. He's been the guy who's fought everybody. He won head-to-head.
Well, I think we were more preoccupied with Holyfield getting his ear bit. But go ahead.
Yeah, right, exactly. But why did Mike do that? Because he was. I mean, you can ask Mike why he did that today. He'll tell you. The point is that when we re-examine the evidence, all of a sudden since the college football playoff began, right? Essentially, in this era, which is the new era, the demarcation is college football playoff era. They won as many games, exactly the same number. They have as many playoff appearances. They have as many championships. Will, given the age of the team and the ceiling or the apparent upside of Trevor Lawrence, at this moment next season, we may be saying, oh, wait a minute. We were actually living through the Clemson era and didn't realize it. That is a huge kind of perception-altering game last night.
You got to give Clemson all the credit in the world for where they are today. But making a projection over where we're going to be for the next several years is a dangerous game. I think Trevor Lawrence is amazing. And both of these teams are stocked and loaded on recruiting classes at the underclassmen level. But I've heard you guys a little bit earlier today, and I know, Stephen A., you've said this. I'm not worried about Tua. I'm not worried about Tua at all. In fact, out of that game last night, I came out more impressed with Tua. More. I love the way he responded. Yes, I love the way he responded to adversity. I love the way he responded after that first pick six. I love the way Tua's mistakes, Tua's faults come from a place of confidence, not getting rattled.
Agreed.
Tua kept throwing the ball, kept firing them to get back in that game.